Hi, sir. Today I'm having a little look at what I've been working on lately. What has been in my hoop or outside of my hoop, as with this Tatreez embroidery that I have started. Tatreez embroidery is a particular Palestinian embroidery. It's really beautiful. Unfortunately for me, one of the main stitches or types of Tatreez is cross stitch, which I'm not super great at. I always count it wrong, but I think with this kind of design I should be able to manage it. So this is a pattern I bought, and so far I've stitched about this much of it, and this has got 6 pages. It's gonna take a while, but this is a test anyway, because as you can probably see, the fabric is nowhere near big enough. I think it would have been if I had stitched just over one thread in the fabric, but that is just way too small. So for now I'm just picking this up every now and then as a little practice piece, and then sometime in the new year I'm gonna buy some fabric that is big enough to do the whole thing. And I'm not using the colors in the pattern, mainly because I didn't have all of them. I think I only have one of them, so I just picked up a few colors that I liked. I'm not sure what I'll do when I stitch the proper thing. I might still just pick 4 colors. I think it's 4 colors, 4 or 5 colors that I like together and use those, but we'll see. So the pattern is from a designer called Min Amanne, and this is what it looks like, the whole thing. So this is just part of it, so about this much maybe. I really love this design. I'll put a link to the pattern and their website. They do kits as well, but I think they're in America, so it just costs a lot to have stuff posted to me in England. And I've also made this little brooch using a traditional motif in the Palestinian Tatreez embroidery. It's called the Bethlehem star, and you can actually see it in here as well, these purple stars. So I thought that would be a nice thing to make and wear at the moment, using the colors of the Palestinian flag. I quite enjoyed making this. I just sort of made it up as I went along. I stitched the star and then I filled in the gaps. Another thing I've been working on, which I'm really excited about, is this pattern. The working title is Scandi Tree. I'm not sure what I will call it once it's finished. I think it might be easier to see on the back how close I am to being finished. It's just a few elements here and there and then it's done, which I'm very pleased with because I've been working on this for quite a while. This year has not been a great year for making patterns. I've not been able to stitch as much as I would like. But at least this one will be done soon. So this is sort of a very simplified, symbolic, I don't know what to call it, version of the Yggdrasil tree in Norse mythology. And in the mythology there's the tree, which is these, in my pattern it's all the flowers and the leaves, and at the top of the tree there's an eagle, and sitting on top of the eagle is a hawk. So although one is not sitting on top of the other, I've got two birds here, and then there are also 4 deer scampering about in the branches of the tree, which is perfectly normal for a deer to do. So I've done that, not 4, but 2 Dala horses. And then there's also a squirrel running up and down the tree. So I've got a little squirrel at the bottom here. So this is sort of a very, very loose interpretation, kind of after the fact. I didn't set out to make an interpretation of the Yggdrasil, if I'm totally honest. As you saw, it's very close to finished, the stitching. I'm recording this a few days before Christmas, and there is a chance, I hope, that I can actually finish the stitching and finish the pattern so that by the time you're seeing this it will be available. If that is the case, I'll put a little note on the screen saying that yes, I did indeed finish it, and if the pattern is finished I'll put a link to it in the description. Although it's taken me quite a long time to stitch this, I've really enjoyed it. This is stitched mostly using backstitch, and I think I've said before that some people might think that backstitch is a little bit boring, a little bit basic, and it is quite basic, which I think is one of its great qualities, because you can pick it up really quickly and then you can stitch stuff. And I love working with backstitch because it is so simple. So I can just enjoy the stitching without worrying about getting the tension right in a French knot or whatever it might be. I'm just stitching while I'm watching TV or listening to a podcast or whatever. So hopefully by the time you're watching this, I will have finished stitching this, which may or may not be inspired by the Ask Yggdrasil. What it is inspired by is that earlier this year, in the summer I think, I got an email from someone asking if I would design a tattoo for her. Which I said, yes, I would love to do that. So this is not the design that I made for her, although it's using some of the same elements. The tattoo design is a long skinny design, and I did make a version of that I was going to stitch, but I decided I wanted something that would fill a hoop more completely, because a sort of long skinny one, it's kind of weird stitching it in a round hoop. So this design came out of the design I made for her tattoo. If you want to see her tattoo, I'll see if I can find a link to a picture of it. It turned out really cool. Alright, enough about this one. Here's something I'm working on for next year, so I'll just give you a little sneak peek at it. I'll share more about it early next year. Maybe you can guess what it is, or what it will be part of. I love this little robin. Robins are one of my favorite birds. Especially seeing them early in the morning in the winter when I walk Blake. There's a particular shrub where I often see a robin, and it's really nice to see it and hear it sing. Anyway, I'll put this away and I'll share more later. I can't remember where I was with this sampler when I last shared what I was working on. I think maybe I was just about to start on the L. So I guess I've finished one more letter since then. But it's fine. I don't mind taking my time with this. And I don't know if you've seen, but I have shared a whole series of posts with tutorials for all the stitches in this stitch sampler. I'll put a link to the playlist if you want to check out the stitches. There are 31 stitches in total. And there's a pattern available for this if you want to stitch this as I have done here. I'm really enjoying working on this in different colors than the original version I made of this. I can't wait to finish this, although obviously that's going to take a little while. It's going to be fun to compare both of the samplers with the colors and how I did the stitching. And this is the last thing. I actually have, in the last couple of weeks, or the last week or so, I have put in some time with this embroidery. So this is my temperature embroidery for this year, where each day I log the high and the low temperature with a stitch. So here's January, and on the left is the highest temperature, and on the right is the lowest temperature, and then it's February, March, April, June, July, August, I think. I lost track now. February, March, April, June, July, August. I've actually stitched more than I realized. So just coming up to halfway through September, which is still quite far behind. And I doubt that I will get much done on this before the end of the year, although there is over a week left as of when I'm filming this. But I doubt that I will have time to finish it, because then it will be Christmas and we'll be going places and people coming here. But I'm hoping at least I can finish September. Then I'll only be 3 months behind. And it does work out fairly quickly once you get into a good rhythm. Put on a film and it can do several days without really sort of thinking about it. This is my temperature embroidery from last year. I'm looking forward to seeing how the two compare. Obviously last year we had a few days that were really hot for the south of England. We hit up to, I think, 40 degrees. It's not been this hot this year, although I do know that later in September, sort of mid-September, we had a bit of a heat wave with around 30 degrees, 34 degrees Celsius for I think a whole week. So that's gonna come in with a lot of red and orange here. I'm not sure how many years I'll keep going with this, but I'm interested to see how the temperature changes over a number of years, and tracking it in a sort of physical form, not just a spreadsheet on my computer. Hopefully when I check in with my stitching with myself next time, this will be finished or almost finished. Fingers crossed, because obviously I'm going to start another one next year. So that's what I've been working on. What are you working on? Have you got any fun projects on the go? I think I'll carry on with this Tatreez little sampler for a little bit this morning before I get on with other things. I think I will go and make myself a hot drink and sit next to Blake while he's snoring on the sofa, and I'll work on this, and then I can carry on with whatever else I need to do. But a bit of quiet embroidery is not a bad thing to include in your day. So I hope you have a great day and Happy New Year. See you next year.